Hello, hi, this is Robin here. I'm back on Circle Healing Network. And again, thank you for joining me today. And I'm back with Dr. Reverend Saralise Azrael. And we are joining her on her global pilgrimage. Many of you may remember we did a show a couple weeks back when she was still here in the States before she was leaving to start her tour. She's hitting a lot of sacred sites, doing a lot of work, and as she described some of it there in the last video about the work she's doing, and she'll catch us up on what's going on, but she contacted me yesterday, and she was kind of at a place that she could get internet and connect with us. She's in Spain, Barcelona, in a beautiful seaside town, Sant Pol de Mar, and any of you who visited Spain and those beaches, you know it's beautiful. And it's one of my favorite places, Barcelona and the areas around it. So I'm going to let you jump in, Saralise. Thanks so much for joining us. And also I want to let the viewers know that she's at an internet connection at a cafe. So it's going to be a little sketchy. We're going to show a lot of the little seaside town. And so she may come in and out in freeze frame, but her voice is streaming nicely. So just apologize for that in advance, but we wanted to catch up with you, so we're going to go with the technology. So Saralise, hey, you're on. How you doing?
Hi.
Yay.
I am just, I'm over the moon right now. This is so incredible. That's all even, oh my gosh. I just spent 2 days up in the hills of Barcelona at this, I've been staying in hostels, by the way, just because I feel like it's more personable, there's more community, and it feels really important for me to connect with people. And also I can just kind of be on my own, which is really nice. And they have food and restaurants, usually in the hostels. And then I found this little place, Hostel Pancheta, which is not on any of the hostel sites. It's not, you know, it's not listed anywhere, and I just got lucky, and it was like one of the magical things where I said, "What's that?" And I like, think, you know,
yeah.
I just touched it and you know, had to call directly, and you know, it was a long process to even get here to get this room, you know. So it's been kind of interesting because I had to come back at 7 o'clock and siesta and all that stuff. So there's literally, they are closed between 2 and 5 every day. Like everything shuts down between 2 and 5, and I'm everything. So I'm sure that's because they're going to take a nap on the beach. I don't know, but it's really funny to try to get anything done between the hours of 2 and 5 here. And that's when I arrived.
It's definitely more civilized. And I remember, I went to school in London. I went to university there, London University. And so I spent a lot of time on my off time traveling, you know, Europe and what have you. And when I first discovered the idea of this siesta, you know, in Spain, in Italy, and even in France, they do it. I thought, wow, how civilized. Let's just take some daggone time off, eat, sleep, get refreshed, and go back to work and work a few more hours. I mean, it really does make a lot of sense. And when I spent time in Mexico here this past July, they were doing the same thing. I mean, you know, a couple of, just forget it. Nothing was happening. So, I mean, don't you think it's a bit more civilized and nice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's amazing. There's hardly any litter on the streets here. Like, there's hardly any, the streets are clean.
Mm-hmm.
People are remotely, they're totally friendly to her, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
If you speak some of their language and that you make an effort to speak their language, then they're a little friendly. Here not speak English, so there is a language barrier, and they are very civilized. They don't appreciate that you don't know their language or you don't make an effort. So you have to sort of cater to them a little bit to get them to be friendly. But, you know, once they see that you're willing to do what it takes, then they're willing to talk to you. Fortunately for me, I have Google Translate, which has made things so much easier. Everybody must get Google Translate.
Yeah, exactly. I was using it.
Oh my gosh. You literally use the camera, you put the camera on and you put it up against the words. You align the text of the words and it tells you what it says in English. I mean,
That's
it's incredible.
awesome.
Or
It's
any
incredible.
whatever language. It's amazing. So I've been using a lot of technological tools when I have internet or Wi-Fi available to me. However, Barcelona seems to be one of the only cities so far that I've been to that doesn't have my carrier's Wi-Fi passport situation or whatever. So it's been interesting being here because I haven't had Wi-Fi except for when I'm in a hostel, basically. So I've been staying at the hostels quite a bit and not really moving around much. But in that process too, though, as I'm talking to people, I found out about Saint Paul de Mar. I found, you know, like people are giving me all of these clues. And yesterday I was online with someone and he told me about a stone circle in Galicia, Spain, which is, yeah, it's literally in direct line from Dublin down. It's in a lay, it's like on a ley line, and it's the top of Spain, so it has this English feeling to it, the castles, and it's old and ancient energy. And so he told me the location of where the stone circle used to be that got destroyed. And I immediately had this rush of energy through my body, like, I need to go there and repair that.
Yes.
Like, it's directly in line with Stonehenge and all the and Avery. So I feel like it's part of this whole repair place on there. There's another ley line, the ley lines and all these all the way over to, oh my gosh, my brain is failing me right now. There's this whole line from Lisbon, Barcelona, and then it goes into the Mediterranean, and then it goes across the Mediterranean to Cyprus.
Oh, okay.
So there's a line there. There's a bunch of ley lines that are all crossing each other. So the reason so Samar happens to be like right on that line. Fancy that.
Wow.
The most beautiful beach in Barcelona, supposedly one of the most beautiful beaches. And it's this little cove. It's really sweet. And I know that when I stick my feet in the Mediterranean, it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Like my codes are just gonna go, and it's just gonna ripple across time and space. And everywhere, I don't know if I mentioned this before, and everywhere that I've been, it started. This particular part of this event, the Sophia aspect of the codes, started a long time ago, but it became very evident when I was in the mikvah in Ashland, Oregon, at the well springs. And the mikvah, do you know what a mikvah is?
No, tell me what it is. I don't know.
So a mikvah is when it's the spring where it comes out of the goes back, the sacred pool that forms. So they developed mikvah for the Jewish community.
Uh-huh.
And I had opportunity to go in the, and so I in the pool, and 7 steps that go down, what each one down to your, basically through your subtle bodies. So you walk down into this mikvah, and then you get into the pool, and there's this waterfall, right, that's coming over into the pool. So I decided to lay on my back in this pool, and it freaked me out at first, and then I realized what was happening, and I went back and did it again. But basically, all the bubbles lifted me to the top of the pool.
Yes, exactly.
Top of the pool, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm being held." And Gaia said to me, "I hold you where you go on this earth."
Yeah, and it's just different.
Hold on. She said, "I want you into my waters all over the planet."
Oh.
Vision of this place with a waterfall. South America. It thought it was in Maui. So when I'm Maui, I was in this pool with the waterfall, and my codes activated, and I went like that. And it rippled so much so that my friend who was standing in the water, she's like, "Oh my God." She literally, her whole body went like this. and she'd been part of my retreat in 2012, so she was used to that energy, but it hit her so hard that she like almost fell backwards.
Wow.
So yeah, so here, going into the water, so I have to go into the waters everywhere that I go. It's important for me to put my bottle of water.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to share, because I think those of us who have the Sophia codes, it's imperative and important that we make a point to get in the waters. Here we go.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, that's the earth water. I mean, Mother Earth's waters have been so destroyed that she's had to retreat and pull them deeper in, you know, just to keep some of those waters from just being exploited, let's say. And so you're right. So much of awakening the divine feminine and on the planet is really, it's about connecting with the waters, because that's the lifeblood of the planet. And not only that, but of us. I mean, us being 70% water, I mean, it makes sense that, you know, we are so connected to this whole planetary realm in that way. That's really, that's neat. That's really awesome. You know, just the idea of what you were expressing there, and then encouraging us to think in that way as well, you know, about continuing to connect with those waters. So yeah, and the thing also about the lays are that, like you said, even, you know, like a lot of churches and sacred circles and stuff are found on the lays, you know, and they can transverse from continent to continent.
That's right.
And then oftentimes when there aren't those, you'll at least find the mounds that are still there.
Right.
Even though a lot of times the churches and stuff have been destroyed. So I'm sure you've been finding a lot of that kind of stuff as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Not as much as I thought I was going to find here in Barcelona, but there's a place called Montserrat.
Uh-huh. Oh, nice.
It's a supposedly like where the Black Madonna is.
Yes.
Or was found, or something to that nature.
One of the many Black Madonnas that are all over Europe.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So suggested that I go there, that it's very sacred.
Yes.
And that I take time to go there and feel that. And so I was supposed to be in Lisbon. I don't know if you know the story of like the first 5 days of my journey were like, oh my God. I want to just share with you a little bit about the journey.
Jump in. Let's hear it.
It's been a little bit rough, I can honestly tell you. And I just want to thank everybody who's been supporting me, because, oh my God, miraculous events have been happening. Angels everywhere, you know, and deliberate interference at every turn. I mean, every single moment. I have to reconfigure and figure out and find a way, you know, to get around some of the deliberate interference that's like doing this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been laughable, to the point where last night I discovered my skirt that I wear as a bathing suit somebody had squirted shampoo or conditioner all over it and then hung it back up again as if I wouldn't, so that when I took it down, I would discover it.
Right.
So somebody literally like vandalized my clothing.
What? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, and it was just, I feel like it was in direct reaction to me coming here, because I connect with the mermaids. And for whatever reason, there were these two girls in the hostel, and all of us didn't feel comfortable with them. We got a bad feeling about them. And then when I was in the middle of the day yesterday, I saw one of them, and she had this look on her face, and it was very suspicious. And I got this really, really bad feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so later, one of the girls who was leaving today got her money stolen. And so, well, she thought she did. She thought she got her money stolen. So she was blaming it on these girls. And then we found my skirt. And so we were just like, oh my God, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
That's just an example of like the dark forces just, and that was definitely directed towards me. Like there was no, and even the guy at the desk, I didn't even say anything about it. I wasn't taking it personally. And the guy at the desk says, I think that was directed towards you personally. And I looked at him and I was like, what? You know, it's just like, why would you say something like that to somebody? It was just so weird.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, so for the first 5 days, I was in Iceland, Berlin, and then Barcelona. And during that time, I literally was hitting walls, losing money, missing buses, running around, not grounded at all, and just feeling completely beside myself. I got 7 hours of sleep in 5 days. I mean, I was just not okay.
Wow.
So I decided that I was going to ground out for a couple of days at this hostel and just trust and relax and just be like, okay, I'm here.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I was trying really hard to get to Lisbon, right? I was like, I got to get to Lisbon. I have a retreat. I've got to do this thing. Da, 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 da.
Right.
And it just was not happening. So we rescheduled things a little bit, reconfigured them. I will be doing a retreat in Lisbon.
Okay.
A weekend retreat. And during that retreat, we'll be doing a DNA source code activation ceremony, a DNA activation of the galactic codes. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do 2 different aspects of code activation there. Sorry. And then we will be doing, what else are we doing? Sorry, I'm just spacing out. We're going to do some earthwork, grid work around that area.
Well, that's good.
And yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of really amazing things. And I'm working with Heather Straub, who she is one of the partners in this whole situation. And she and I have been working on the grid separately by ourselves, and now we're kind of joining forces for specific events. Right?
Oh, that's going to be great.
And yeah. So she's kind of made a connection to the spiritual world there and all the people on the spiritual track in Lisbon, and so she's sort of connected with a core community of people there. Mm-hmm. And so she's going to gather the folks from there for this retreat. So they've known about me coming for like 3 months or something.
Right. Okay.
Which is great. So there's going to be a beautiful convergence of spiritual souls having an experience. And we're probably going to be doing some womb cleansing and a womb cleansing ceremony and some other stuff.
Right. You know, I'm just fascinated with, the work you're doing. And it's interesting because part of, what this network is all about is to celebrate the fact that, there's so many of us out there doing so many different things. And unless we connected and shared like this, oftentimes you don't know. And I think a lot of times people, I think there's many people out there that are not only waking up, but are connecting to this whole big world around us and, don't really know where they fit. And so part of what I enjoy doing is connecting with people like yourself, of course, and sharing all these unique ways of approaching, connecting with the planet and all the kind of possibilities of what's out there to do and either become a part of or have the courage to kind of like follow your own drum or whatever it is, And, Saralise, one of the things I decided to do just recently is to take the like and dislike buttons off of my videos because I realized it's just like, who cares? I mean, so many people focus in on, I don't like this and that's why I don't like it. And I really got to thinking about that. And I'm like, we're living our lives and we're doing what we believe to be our truths and following our spirit guides, our angels, our higher selves, our oversouls, right? And there's no such thing as right or wrong. And, I just really started dealing with that myself and deciding that I'm celebrating all of our differences and all of the missions that we're on. And maybe somebody else's mission is not my mission, but that doesn't mean that it's right or wrong or I get to make a decision. Right. So I just was throwing that out there because in listening to you, and I wanted to kind of throw that back at you, but it's really about us, and that's about awakening the divine feminine, because the divine feminine is like how mothers are. We have 5 different kids and 5 different kids and different individuals, but we're loving them all equally. It's not about, oh, you're not like your brother, your sister over here. I mean, I know that some of that goes on, but the actual divine feminine, the natural female, is to celebrate and support the differences in all of our kids, right? And that's on the large global scale what we're doing as well.
Yes. Yeah. It's so interesting you're saying that. I was observing these twins. I believe they were twins. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were a year apart on the train today. It was a family, and there were 3 kids, and the one kid was like freaking out and screaming, and they kept holding him, and he didn't have he'd take his shoes off every time he put his shoes on. And the other kid, who was also in a stroller, who seemed to be his twin, but maybe he was a year older, I'm not really sure,
right,
was calm and collected, and he was maybe, so they probably weren't twins, but they were around the same size, which was super interesting. But the one kid was completely just freaking out, and the other kid was completely calm. And if they were twins, I was like observing the difference between the 2 personalities within I mean, they looked identical. So
right.
It was really hard to tell if they were same age or if they were 1 year apart. But it was just amazing to me how the parents handled it.
Right.
And how I would have just sat him down on the thing, but what I realized is he probably would have ran off, and that's why they had to hold him, because he just was spazzing out all the time.
Right.
And so, but they were very sophisticated, and they were just calm and loving, and it just very different from what I see in America. Like I've noticed with the families here, first of all, everyone's super classy. Like everyone is very sophisticated. They're very, very, I mean, there's no junk anywhere. In fact, when I first got here, I went into the store here, and it had like, umbrellas for the beach and beach towels, and like it was like a 99-cent store you would see in America.
Right. Oh,
like one of those type. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so I went in there and I was like,
and Spain is good.
Check out what they have here, right?
Yeah, Spain is good with those kind of 99-cent stores tucked away. I know when I've gone, I mean, what you can get for like the 99-cent equivalent, you're like, wow, it's a treasure trove.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was like in there getting like dishcloths. I mean, I was like, why am I buying all this shit?
Right.
No reason really, but I just was like having fun,
Right,
and
exactly.
enjoyed it.
And you can use it along the way, so.
Exactly. But even there, the level of sophistication of the people running the store, and they were Asian, but the quality of their energy comparatively to the same in America was astonishing to me. Like it was astonishing. It was the same type of store, but they were kind, they were loving, they were patient. They answered my questions. There was no like, they weren't tired of me being there. They didn't like brush me off. And like all these people came in and out, in and out, in and out the whole time. They were super busy, but he still took the time to answer my questions.
Right, exactly.
And he didn't speak English, so he had to like work at it. And it was just, it was like amazing to me,
I know exactly what you mean, because my last trip that I experienced the same type of thing, and I find myself saying that it must be in the air. And of course, pun intended, with chemtrails, half dozen other things. But you know that Americans are decent, good-hearted, loving people, that, we just love freedom. We respect, people's differences. That's what this country was founded on. But yet nowadays, I swear to goodness, everybody seems to be impatient and all around, get out my way, and I don't care about you, care about me. And I swear it's in the air. There's got to be some other kind of geoengineering. Something's happening that's really,
for sure.
It's in the air. Honey. It's coming across the plasma technology, because people are starting having this subtle, energetic character shifts that you look and say, my God, what's going on?
And I noticed it here in Barcelona. I noticed that in the city, whereas in Berlin, the skies were clear.
Yeah.
And it was incredible how friendly people were in Berlin. Even, underground though, the undergrounds, they're not as friendly because they're underground all day. So they're not getting the fresh air that they need. So I think it's an environmental thing for sure, in that, you know, the quality of the air that you're breathing makes a huge difference in the way that you interact with the world. And so if you're being constantly sprayed, literally with either carbon dioxide or nanotechnology, you're going to get some kind of form of negativity that's coming into your field on a consistent basis. And so for me, I've made a sphere of light around me, a golden sphere of light, but I've also put a rainbow sphere around that so that it doesn't actually enter my field. And I've been doing that since 2009. So I've literally, it's a little bit less now than what I used to do, but I used to have a really strong shield and things did not get into my field. But recently, in the past few years, I've been broken down a little bit. And I know it's directly related to the chemtrails and that my body has become more sensitive. So I do believe, though, with energy frequencies, that you can build a shield around yourself that actually protects you from, you know, those things, because Morgellons is a real thing, and I've seen people with it, and I've experienced it myself in my skin sometimes, and I've experienced really strange symptoms from being in heavily sprayed cities. For instance, Portland, and Portland, Oregon was a very heavily sprayed city, and Mount Shasta was too. So when I was in Mount Shasta recently and the skies were clear, I was just beside myself. I was so happy. And it has been lately in the last 3 years that the chemtrail, last couple of months, the chemtrails have lessened. I don't see them nearly as much in the summertime.
You don't see them nearly as much. And I always tell folks.
And that could be a temperature thing, or it could be because they're just changing the whole.
The global domination is Mr. Global is changing. The face of Mr. Global is changing. Let's put it like that.
That's true.
What I think, Mr.
Global is becoming Miss Global or Ms. Global. Thank you very much. Or a combination of both, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's definitely changing. And I always tell people, just remember to keep yourself alkaline. If you don't do anything but drink Soleil once a day or a couple times a day, that's salt, and look up Soleil. It's SOLE, but
the Himalayan salt in water.
Yeah, look it up, guys, because if you do that alone, it helps to keep the nano spray and the technology, and also that kind of thing from affecting your vessel. So
also it does something for your minerals. It keeps your minerals balanced. Your core. It keeps a foundation of minerals at your core. If you consistently raise that core level of your minerals, it keeps your body from going into that place of reserve and that place of like PTSD, right? So it actually helps to support the foundation of your physical body so that you don't become triggered as much emotionally. So it's quite an interesting dynamic to understand how to physically support your body as well as energetically, because if you don't do both, one way or the other, you're going to have issues come up.
Precisely.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also to the point of your global pilgrimage is for people to just visit as many sacred sites as they can. And there's sacred sites all around us. I mean, a lot of
all
times
over the world.
I've got to travel, get on a plane and go to Stonehenge, something like that. But if you just simply, most old cathedrals were built on sacred sites or mounds. So if you just go
vortexes,
yeah, exactly. So if you just find a really old church in your city and go and sit there, you're most likely going to be on some lake or some sort of energy source, and you'll feel the difference. But that's another way of really just replenishing the body and connecting back to Mother Earth. And would you agree with that, Saralise? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Yes. Well, I was also going to mention that not only the churches, but the obelisks in the center of the cities, those are manipulated vortexes.
Right.
So a lot of us could be healing those manipulations through going there and setting a prayer field and cloaking ourselves. Obviously, you kind of have to be invisible to do this. But once we're invisible, we can kind of move in and like make a point of expanding the harmonic resonance field in those places, because those are the places where the control matrices are taking place. Like, for instance, in Rome, the Vatican is a center for that. The Mecca, do you know about the Mecca, the one where everybody goes around it in circles?
Yes, the black stone there that has a whole
the black cube. So that is a control mechanism that's in place. So some of those are the centers of where these big control centers exist. DC is another one. Washington DC is another one.
London City,
Philadelphia, London, City of London, the 1 square mile.
Exactly.
Yeah. So these are the places where there needs to be a lot of repair, but be aware and conscious of the fact that if you're going to do something like that, you need to know what you're doing, and you know, like, have an understanding of, like, if you just walk in there and be like, you're gonna get blasted. You know what I mean? And even if you're cloaked, you're gonna probably get blasted. I mean, it's a lot of energy. So it's an intense. You got to be strong. You got to be in your center and be in a place where you know that you can make a difference without being seen.
That's why I always suggest,
normal. You know, just like blend in.
Exactly. And that's why I would suggest, more so, unless there are people who are already doing this work, is really to connect more with your sacred sites and places where you can become energized.
You're right where you are, right where you
are. Right.
Yes,
just
true.
become energized. And then what happens too is you begin to realize, you start having a sense of the different energies, because connecting with the sacred energies that are coming from Mother Earth really helps to teach you what the other energies are really feeling like, because we're just bombarded all the time by, you know, the electromagnetic fields and stuff like that. So, you know, you become desensitized to what energies actually feel like. So part of participating or at least being a part of the energy that you're putting out on the global pilgrimage is, I would suggest for people just to begin to learn what the sacred energies feel like, and to just start connecting there, because sometimes you have to really heal. I mean, we all need so much healing, even those of us who are healers. I mean, I still need a lot of healing. I got to spend a lot of time just making sure that I'm taking care of myself, because you get so depleted, you know. Definitely.
And I think maybe what I was speaking to with those other places is that, yes, they need a lot of healing. And so any contribution that we can give is going to make a difference. And at the same time, we do need to be strong. And it is important to replenish and rejuvenate and refill our cup so that we're in a place where we can do that. Because if we're not, so for instance, in that first 5 days, I was getting, you know, slammed essentially. And so driven that I was like, I got to get to Lisbon, you know, and it wasn't happening. And I had to surrender to that and be like, okay, wait a minute. I'm in Europe. I'm in Barcelona. I need to relax. I need to have a good time. I need to go swimming. I need to, like, chill out and enjoy the fact that I'm in Barcelona right now and, like, just have a good time.
Exactly. Like they say, look up and smell the roses. I mean, you know, just take that. And you're right. We get so driven with our projects and what we need to do and where we're trying to go. That's an example of what I was speaking to as well, is, you know, even as healers, you have a tendency to sometimes forget to take that extra time and take care of yourself, you know, and that's what you're saying is needed. So we probably should start wrapping it up, because I know that the internet connection has been kind to us the last 15 minutes, which is good. And so I wanted to just say this, and then of course I want to let you wrap it up. But you know, this global pilgrimage is requiring a lot of you financially, as well as and you've been having a lot of supporters along the way, which is awesome. The last show we shared this with people, and we really want to thank those who have supported you and all the support that's coming your way. It's huge. There's a lot of people who get it, and everyone just can't, you know, get up and travel like you are. You know, there are people who have responsibilities back at home with parents or children or whatever, but they can still be a part of this by not only participating and connecting with Mother Earth, like we've just talked about, a lot of suggestions, but also to feed into your pilgrimage financially, as well as, I mean, there's a lot of ways to fill in, maybe someone has a hotel or hostel in the areas that you're going, or has a casita that they would,
or a friend, or someone
friends
they know who would host me or something, and that cuts down on costs tremendously.
So maybe one of the things you can do, Saralise, is to give me sort of a rough, I'll be in Spain, I'll be in Lisbon, I'll be here, I'll be there, I'm going to Rome or whatever, and just have like a city list underneath videos, and then that way people can connect and say, well, I know someone who's in Rome, or I know someone who's there, and then they can email you and you guys can connect in, and that'll help out a lot as well. So we can do something along that line, maybe, because I know.
And they can contact me on Facebook, because Facebook Messenger I actually can get to pretty easily. So that's actually a really good way to send me a message, is on Facebook.
And then,
of
course,
not necessarily my Reverend Doctor page, but just my regular profile.
Okay, so we'll make sure that.
But they would need to send me an actual message, not just add me as a friend, because I don't actually have any space right now. But just to send me a message and say, hey, I saw you on Circle
Healing Network,
sorry. Circle Healing Network. And, I know someone here, there, whatever, and that would be super helpful. I mean, any sort of connections that we can connect people, and if there's anybody that they want me to meet, and I feel resonance with that, I would love to meet them as well. And they, spiritually, they may know where there's sacred sites or something that I need to tap into.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
Right, it's huge, because any kind of connection we can find is going to be helpful. Because right now I'm just doing this on my own. So
I know you are.
I've already had a plan and a prayer for a really long time, girl. But it's good to be connected.
And then you also have the PayPal as well, and I'll put that under this video. So anyone who just wants to have funding, and no amount is too little or too much. I mean, $5, and I know I was
anything, girl. Euros are expensive, man.
And it's so inexpensive to eat a lot of places in Europe, where we have here in the States, if you say $5, some of them, we can do $5. But I mean, in Europe, it goes a lot further, because you have options of so
I mean,
no amount is too little.
A huge dinner I was getting at the hostel for €7. I mean, ridiculous amount of food. Like crazy. I couldn't even eat it all.
Right, exactly. So just keep that in mind. All of it adds and helps helps out. So I'll make sure that I put all those links down here as well.
I would so
just to kind of help
anyone who wants to donate, because also the other thing I just want to share is I'm kind of alone in this. So a lot of times if I'm not financially sound, it feels a little scary to me. And so I'm taking it day by day, literally. And so, anything helps. I mean, it's incredible how much, $10 can make a difference in my world. You know what I mean? And so it's because for instance, I lost my bus the other day, and I lost all that money. Right. And then I didn't check in 2 hours in advance. So I had to pay $50 to check in at the airport. So that was $50. So I literally have lost $300 in the last few days, just because of those little catch thingies that I didn't know about,
Exactly.
So I started getting really kind of panicky and afraid, because I was like, oh my God. Yeah, so it's been an incredibly steep learning curve for me. And so any support, that people want to give energetically to my smoothness and to the financials, I am totally open to receiving. You know what I mean? There's things that I don't know about that are happening, and I'm like, woo, there goes another $100. What just happened? And so it's a little bit and because I'm alone and I don't speak other languages, it can be a little bit, the language barrier has been difficult for me, for sure.
Yes, I can imagine.
And so I'm doing my best, but I have work to do here. It's important that I'm here to do the work that I'm doing. And I'm literally listening to spirit every single day, moment by moment. Oh, and they can subscribe to my blog too, because I am on my website. I'm going to be blog posting.
Good.
Because
Okay.
I feel like it's really, oh, here comes.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't this funny?
Yeah, it is. He's got his refrigerator on the back of it.
Adios, míos. There's Spain for you right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh
Definitely.
my God. Oh my God, they're having like a huge outside. It's really funny. That was a good little break moment.
Yeah.
Look at this woman. Aww,
oh, I know. And it's like,
hello,
right,
it's me.
And it's so
sweet woman.
Right when you were talking about, it's so, I mean, like the universe showed up for you just then, because it was like, right when you're talking about how this is, this is stretching you, and, it could be a little daunting because you're by yourself. And here this guy shouts out, hey, and then the little woman's walking across the street, and it's like, yes, but, we're here.
I'm here.
Gotcha, so.
But I'm here. It's like,
exactly.
I'm actually here.
Here, exactly.
So, oh, and this is the other really cool thing that happened. Okay, so I've been finding feathers on my last 2 months of my journey. I've found feathers everywhere I go.
Right. I love feathers.
And in Barcelona, I didn't find any feathers at all.
Right.
And then I got to Sant Pol de Mar, and boom, feather. In a doorway, in a retail store, in the back by the bathroom.
Isn't that crazy? Like where you wouldn't think it's going to be.
It was right in front of me. Like it could not have been more clear, because the pigeon up above me flew away. It was like totally planted there for me. It wasn't there when I walked out to go to the bathroom. Okay. And then I come back and there's this feather like right there. And then I found another one. I'm like, okay. And it was right in my path. Like it wasn't in anybody else's path. It was in my path,
And the crazy thing about that is that, I mean, there's so many pigeons in Barcelona. It's like you would, feathers everywhere. So not to find one, that's like the universe speaking.
Not find one feather in Barcelona.
Because,
there's pigeons all over the square, Catalonia. There's like
everywhere. And plus we know, we know that that birds are, mystical creatures anyhow, that are able to fly in and out of the various dimensions, and they're always about bringing messages and that kind of stuff. So that clearly is about bringing the messages, and it's almost like the feathers are like the bread crumbs, like on the path.
Yeah,
like, we're on the path. This is right.
Yeah, I mean, it was so good for my heart to find a feather. Like, okay, I'm on the right path. Like I literally was like, okay, I'm in the right place.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just trusted that when I got the feather. It was like a little sign from God or in Goddess, the universe, that I was definitely supposed to be here.
Absolutely. So we'll get ready to close things out, because I know that you've got to get on with some of the things that you're doing. And
I need to go see the sunset, girl. That's what I need to do.
Because it's getting ready to sunset time there for you. And so I'll be sure to post everything on the video, underneath the video, so you guys can support what Saralise is doing. And then of course you'll keep me posted as you've been texting me along the way, and let me know what things that you do need as well. And then, when you get to your next point, and you get internet, we'll just be doing these quick shows that will actually document the pilgrimage. And then at some point you'll have the opportunity, we'll maybe finish the project up by maybe just splicing a lot of these together and maybe doing one sort of documentary piece on this global pilgrimage. So, well,
I do have a documentary. I think I told you about it, called Sophia Rising.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So
this is actually part of it. I mean, we could take some of this information and put it in there. And I would love to be in person with you also, maybe in October.
Well, when we're in Italy, we'll do some.
Yeah, we can film some stuff as well.
Right. Because yeah, because I'm gonna spend a few days in Rome before I actually start the expedition as well. So either before
At the
or
end of
either
September,
after.
right?
Yeah, that's gonna be like or at the end in the very first few days of October. So we'll
Perfect.
coordinate, but we'll do some taping in person as well for sure.
Yes, that
And then
sounds
maybe
like a great idea.
yeah, and we can hit a few sacred sites there together, and you know, in and around Rome. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
We'll
yeah.
do that for
the
sure.
Vatican, dude. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
oh, for sure. That's one of those
Hello.
points that we got to go in there armed and equipped to, like,
Yep.
you know, do some
Yeah,
healing.
we're gonna need a crew for that.
Yeah, we need a crew.
Because that's gonna be after the UK, so that'll be quite interesting to see how that all plays itself out. You know.
Yeah, it will.
You got to remember, this is real time we're talking about here.
Yeah,
this is not
real
like.
time.
This is real time with the elections and with the financials and the Brexit, you know, Britain leaving the European Union. It's all happening right now. So it's all very real time. And it's really important to remember that when people are watching this is like the reason I'm going right now, you know, the reason we're going and doing what we're doing right now. It's like right now.
It's right now. I mean, this is the present moment.
It's because of what's happening in the moment and how important it is. And so, yeah, I just wanted to speak to that. It's like we are literally putting our lives on hold in a way to go do this so that it can be done. And I just want to stress how important that piece it is and why this support is needed. Because I literally left everything behind to go do this. And it wasn't in my trajectory necessarily, right?
Right.
I mean, it was, but it wasn't like the timing of it was such
wasn't the most ideal.
It was like spur of the moment. Yeah, it wasn't like I had this time to plan this whole thing out. No, it's like go now. Spirit's like go now. This is what you got to do. Boom, on this day. Oh, okay. And listen, because I'm going to be talking to you every step of the way. I'm like, okay, you know.
All right.
So not to get distracted with shopping or something else, but like pay attention because I'm, you know.
Exactly. So, all righty then. Well, we'll let you go. I'll make sure I post everything on the video here beneath there.
Thank you, darling.
Stay in touch with you, and keep me posted. And you know, we'll sign on again in a week or so whenever you know you're at the next point. Jump on, and we'll keep it going.
All right, love.
Listen, thank you so much. Thank you, Saralise. It's been awesome. And you and I will stay in touch. But again, thank you, everyone, for joining us here on
Thank you, everybody.
Yep, and thank you for all the support that everyone has already been giving you. We appreciate it
so much.
Yeah, and we'll keep it going. So, okay, bye-bye, everyone. We'll take care, and we'll see you again. This is Robin McClendon from Circle Healing Network. Thank you. Out.
Bye.